Hey everyone, ready to dive into the world of specialized selling? We're going to tackle interview prep today.
Yeah, getting you ready to really impress in that interview.
Perfect. And we've
Yeah.
got some awesome resources to guide
Oh,
us.
yeah, for sure.
We're using RoleCatcher's Career and Interview Guides.
So good.
Our mission,
Yeah.
to demystify what this role actually is.
Help you nail those tough interview questions.
Give you some insider tips to help you shine.
And we'll look at how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a real edge.
Exactly. It's not just about getting the job, it's about figuring out if this is the right path.
Right. Finding the right fit.
All right, so let's jump in. What exactly does a specialized seller do? I was looking through the RoleCatcher guide, and it's definitely not just your typical retail gig.
Oh, definitely not.
It seems like being a product expert is key.
Absolutely.
Like you really got to know your stuff inside and out.
You got it.
And the guide mentions all sorts of places you could work, from high-end boutiques
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to those cool niche bookstores.
Yeah.
I can see how passion would be super important here.
Oh, totally. Passion is essential. And what's interesting is how much the role can actually vary
Oh, well, yeah.
depending on the shop itself.
I see.
The scoop section in RoleCatcher's guide really highlights this.
Interesting.
It means your research before the interview
Okay.
is absolutely critical.
Makes sense.
Think about it. A vintage record store is going to have a completely different vibe than, say,
Oh, yeah.
a luxury car dealership.
Totally. So it's not just about knowing the product, it's about understanding
Yeah,
the whole culture of the place.
the whole environment.
I like that. Okay, but let's get real for a second. Is this even the right job for you? Yeah, the guide lays out some pros and cons,
Yeah,
and I think that's where people need to be honest with themselves.
absolutely. So self-reflection is key here.
Totally.
High earning potential is definitely tempting.
For sure.
But the guide also mentions it's a very competitive field.
Right.
So think about how you handle pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Does that motivate you or does it make you anxious?
That's a good point. And there's definitely room for growth in these roles, but it can come with long hours,
Especially in the beginning.
especially at the start.
Yeah.
What are your priorities right now? Maybe work-life balance is more important than climbing the ladder super fast.
Mm-hmm.
The career stages section can help you figure out where you are right now.
It's a good tool. And remember, even though the guide doesn't explicitly talk about work-life balance,
Right.
it's totally fine to ask about that in the interview.
Yes.
Actually, formulating those questions now can help you decide if the company's even a good fit.
I love that. Research isn't just for them to learn about you, it's for you to learn about them.
Exactly.
Okay, let's dig into some interview questions.
All right, let's do it.
RoleCatcher's interview guide is packed with them,
It is.
but we're going to focus on some real zingers
The tough ones.
that often trip people up.
Yeah.
First up, describe your experience in sales.
Okay.
Sounds simple enough, right?
Mm.
But I bet there's a lot more to it than just listing your past jobs.
Oh, for sure. You're absolutely right.
So how do we make this answer stand out?
It's time to show off those transferable skills, but in a way that's relevant to specialized selling.
Okay.
Like, for example, remember that time you convinced your friends to try that new restaurant?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's persuasion,
Right.
and it's a core skill here. Or think about any time you had to explain something complex
Uh-huh.
in a way that people actually understood.
Mm-hmm.
That's clear communication,
Oh, I see.
both essential for a specialized seller,
So instead of saying, I worked as a cashier,
right?
you'd say something like, as a cashier, I became really good at quickly assessing customer needs and guiding them to the right product.
Exactly.
It's about highlighting those skills that make a specialized seller successful.
You got it.
RoleCatcher's functions and core abilities section is really helpful for this.
It is.
It gets you thinking about those key skills.
And don't be afraid to think outside traditional retail.
Okay.
Maybe you volunteered at a museum gift shop
Oh, yeah.
or helped organize a fundraiser.
Those experiences can also show your passion for connecting people with products.
Right. And showcasing your skills.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and competitor products?
Ooh, good one.
This feels especially important in specialized selling,
Oh, yeah.
where you really need to be a product guru.
Bad luck.
Like, so how do we knock this one out of the park?
What's key here is showcasing your initiative and your genuine interest.
Okay.
Sure, the guide mentions attending trade shows, following industry blogs,
Yeah.
but they want to see your passion.
Right.
What are you already doing to stay informed?
I like that.
Maybe you're part of an online forum,
Uh-huh.
or you love a certain podcast.
Right.
Show them you're genuinely curious
Yeah.
and keeping up with things.
It sets you apart.
Definitely.
You know, it reminds me of how RoleCatcher helps people tailor their resumes and cover letters.
Oh, yeah.
Their AI scans for relevant keywords and skills based on the job description.
It's like having a personal assistant who speaks recruiter.
That's amazing. And speaking of assistants,
Yeah.
they have this massive database of interview questions.
Really?
Over 120,000, which is insane.
Wow.
You can practice for pretty much anything they throw at you.
That's incredible.
What's really cool is their AI can even analyze your practice responses,
No way.
giving you feedback on things like your tone and clarity.
That's like having a coach in your pocket.
Exactly.
And it's not just for specialized selling. They have
Oh.
it for tons of different fields.
Tons.
Okay, let's get back to those interview questions.
All right.
This next one can be a bit of a nail biter.
Oh, yeah.
How do you handle objections or pushback from potential customers?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I can feel the tension building already,
Right.
but I bet you've got some pro tips for navigating this one.
I do. It's all about turning that tension into an opportunity. Remember, handling objections isn't about winning an argument.
Right.
It's about understanding the customer's concerns. RoleCatcher's guide really emphasizes empathy and active listening.
Makes sense.
Can you put yourself in the customer's shoes?
Yeah, I see your point.
So it's less about selling and more about...
Problem solving.
Exactly. Let's say a customer is hesitant about the price of a high-end item.
Okay.
Instead of getting defensive,
Yeah.
you can showcase your expertise.
Right.
Break down the value, the craftsmanship, the unique features.
I like that.
Think back to the functions and core abilities section in the career guide. It talks about things like negotiation and active listening. Those are crucial here.
Yeah, for sure. And let's be real, sometimes the price a deal breaker.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you've lost the sale.
Exactly.
Maybe there's a more affordable option, or you can highlight a financing plan.
Good point.
It's about being resourceful, just like you would be when researching potential employers using RoleCatcher's database.
Absolutely. Speaking of research,
Yeah.
let's tackle a question that really tests how well you've prepped.
Okay, bring it on.
Can you explain your understanding of the specialized seller role?
Ooh, this feels like a chance to really impress them.
It is, but don't just regurgitate the job description.
Right.
They want depth.
Okay.
Think about what makes this role unique compared to, say, a cashier at a big department store.
Okay.
You're not just processing transactions, you're a consultant,
Right.
guiding the customer to the best solution.
So if you're interviewing at a high-end fashion boutique,
Yeah?
you might talk about your passion for helping people express their individual style.
Exactly. Or if it's that cool bookstore, you could discuss your love for connecting readers with books that'll transport them to other worlds.
Perfect examples.
Right.
It shows you understand the heart of the role.
It does. Now let's dive into a question that often throws people off.
Okay, I'm ready.
How do you identify potential customers for your product?
This is where things get strategic.
Right. It's not just about standing behind a counter
Yeah.
and waiting for people to walk in.
So how do we approach this one?
Think about your ideal customer.
Okay.
Where do they hang out? What are their interests? Maybe it's attending local events related to your niche
Right.
or collaborating with complementary businesses.
I see.
RoleCatcher's career guides often have suggestions for professional organizations and resources.
Oh, that's helpful.
Related to specific fields, you can use those for inspiration.
And in this digital age, using social media in a smart way can be huge.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not about spamming people with ads.
Right.
It's about engaging with them authentically.
Exactly. Speaking of engagement, let's move on to a question that really gets into the nitty-gritty.
Okay, let's hear it.
Can you walk me through your sales process?
Time to show them how you close a deal.
Yes, but remember, it's not about a rigid script.
Okay.
They want to see your flexibility and adaptability.
I got it.
Maybe you start by asking open-ended questions to uncover the customer's needs.
Okay.
Then you use your product knowledge to offer solutions.
And throughout the process, you're actively listening, building rapport, and adjusting your approach based on the customer's responses.
Exactly. And of course, you're always looking for opportunities to upsell or cross-sell,
Right.
but in a way that genuinely benefits the customer.
Sure.
It's about being a problem solver, not just a salesperson. Now think about this. How would you measure the success of your sales efforts?
That's a good question. I think it's important to acknowledge that sales metrics are still important.
Oh, absolutely.
Even in a specialized selling environment,
For sure.
you need to be able to track your progress
Yes.
and demonstrate your value to the company.
You got it. But it's not just about hitting a quota.
Right. It's about so much more than just revenue.
Exactly. Think about things like customer satisfaction,
Mm-hmm.
repeat business referrals.
Yeah,
If you're in a role where online engagement is relevant, that can be a measure too.
true. It's about showing that you understand the bigger picture, building loyalty, and contributing to the company's long-term success.
Absolutely. Kind of like how RoleCatcher focuses on not just getting you the interview,
Right.
but making sure you're well prepared for the long haul of your career.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Speaking of being well prepared, let's talk about time management.
Okay, good one.
In a fast-paced environment like retail, you'll be juggling customer interactions, inventory, and maybe even administrative tasks.
Well, lots to handle.
So how would you answer? How do you prioritize your sales activities and manage your time effectively?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess having a good system is crucial,
Right.
whether it's a planner, an app, or a combination of both. But it's also about knowing yourself.
Okay.
When are you most productive?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need breaks to recharge?
Yeah,
Structure your day to play to your strengths.
I see.
Maybe block out time for certain tasks,
Uh-huh.
or have a system for handling urgent versus important things.
It's about showing you're not just working hard, but working smart.
Yeah.
Okay, let's level up to a question that might come up if you're going for a more senior role.
All right, let's do it.
How do you build and maintain relationships with key accounts?
This goes beyond that initial transaction.
Okay.
You need to build genuine rapport.
Right.
Think about what makes each client unique, their needs, their preferences.
Yeah.
Tailor your communication accordingly.
And it's about nurturing those relationships over time.
Absolutely.
Maybe you send thank you notes, remember birthdays, or check in regularly to offer value.
Good examples. It shows you're not just a salesperson, but a trusted advisor.
Right.
This kind of dedication to building relationships is something we see reflected in RoleCatcher's approach.
Oh, really?
They're constantly adding new resources and features, not just to get you hired, but to support your professional growth over time.
Speaking of growth, let's talk about something that can be a bit daunting for many job seekers.
Okay, what's that?
Salary expectations.
Oh yeah, big one.
How do you handle the question? What are your salary expectations?
Do your research beforehand.
Okay.
Websites like Glassdoor can help you understand the typical range for this role in your area. And don't undervalue yourself.
Right.
Factor in your experience, your skills, and your track record.
So have a range in mind.
Yes.
And be prepared to articulate it clearly and confidently.
Exactly. It's okay to say, based on my research and experience, I'm targeting a salary between X and Y.
And be open to negotiation.
Of course.
If their offer is a bit lower, don't be afraid to counter,
Right.
but be ready to justify it with your skills and achievements.
Exactly. Remember, salary isn't everything.
True.
Benefits, vacation time, and professional development are important too.
Now, we've talked about handling objections from customers.
Yeah.
But what about handling rejection from potential employers?
Ooh, good point.
How do you bounce back from that?
It's tough, but view it as a learning opportunity.
Okay.
Rejection doesn't always mean you weren't good enough.
Right.
Maybe the timing was off or it wasn't the right fit.
And just like RoleCatcher's AI can provide feedback on your interview answers,
Mm-hmm.
you can use each rejection as feedback to refine your approach.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's tweaking your resume
Yeah.
or practicing different answers.
Exactly. It's all part of the process. Speaking of process, let's touch on another crucial aspect.
Okay, what's that?
How do you handle difficult customers?
Ooh, yeah. This is a big one. We've all had those encounters that leave you feeling flustered.
Right.
So any advice on handling those tricky situations?
It's where your emotional intelligence comes in.
Okay.
Stay calm, listen empathetically, and try to find solutions that address their concerns
Right.
without compromising your integrity
Yeah.
or the company's policies.
Makes sense. Remember that service orientation the career guide talks about.
Yes.
That's your superpower here.
It is. And sometimes it's about knowing when to escalate the situation to a manager.
Oh, yeah.
Or even just acknowledging that you can't meet their demands.
That's tough, but true.
It's a balancing act for sure. Exactly. It's about setting boundaries while still providing excellent service. Now, think about how you'd answer this classic behavioral question. Tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult customer. What was the situation and how did you handle it?
Yeah, this is where I'd probably freeze up in the interview.
Yeah.
It's hard to think on the spot like that.
That's why practicing beforehand is so important. And remember, it's not about having a perfect story. It's about showcasing your process.
Okay.
The STAR method can help you structure your answer.
The STAR method.
Yeah, first you describe the situation,
Okay.
then the task you had to accomplish next, you outline the actions you took, and
Uh-huh.
finally you share the result.
That's helpful. So even if the outcome wasn't ideal,
Yeah,
you can still highlight what you learned.
exactly. It's about showing that you can handle challenges and grow from them.
Right. And that mindset of continuous learning is something we see reflected in RoleCatcher as well.
Oh, definitely.
They're always updating their platform with new features and resources
Mhm.
to help you stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Speaking of staying ahead, let's talk about a question that often gets overlooked.
Okay, what's that?
Do you have any questions for us?
Oh, right. It's
Yeah.
easy to just say, no, I think you've covered everything.
Yeah.
But that's a missed opportunity.
It is. It's your chance to show you've done your research and that you're genuinely interested.
Right.
Avoid generic questions about benefits or vacation time.
Right.
Instead, ask about things that matter to you, like the company's growth plans
Mm.
or their approach to professional development.
Or even things like work-life balance or opportunities for creativity.
Good examples. It's about finding a company where you can thrive, not just survive.
Exactly. Okay, before we wrap up, I have to ask about something that sounds almost too good to be true, AI-powered feedback on interview practice.
Oh, yeah.
Is that really a thing with RoleCatcher?
It is, and it's pretty incredible.
Wow.
Imagine recording yourself answering these tough questions
Mhm.
and then getting personalized insights on everything from your body language to your tone of voice.
It's like having a virtual coach.
Yeah.
But isn't AI kind of cold and impersonal?
Not at all. The beauty of it is that it's objective.
Okay.
It's not about someone's opinion. It's about identifying patterns
Uh-huh.
and providing specific recommendations based on your unique performance.
I see.
So whether you tend to speak too quickly, fidget nervously, or use filler words,
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI can help you become aware of those habits
Yeah.
and develop strategies to overcome them.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And it's not about striving for some unattainable perfection.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about getting comfortable with the process and becoming more confident.
Exactly. Speaking of confidence, let's circle back to product knowledge.
Good.
It might seem obvious, but it's crucial for specialized sellers to go beyond just memorizing features and benefits.
Right.
They need to be able to explain the value proposition in a way that connects with each customer.
So how would you approach the question? Tell me about a time you had to explain a complex product to a customer who wasn't technically savvy.
Think about using analogies or real-world examples.
Mm-hmm.
Even storytelling can make the information more engaging and memorable.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
And don't just talk 8T, the customer involve them in the conversation.
Okay.
Ask questions, check for understanding,
Uh-huh.
make sure they feel comfortable asking for clarification.
It's about creating a connection, not just delivering a presentation.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to emphasize one final point, the importance of research.
Yes,
And I'm not just talking about researching potential employers and the role itself.
you got it.
It's also about diving deep into the specific industry that excites you.
Absolutely.
RoleCatcher's career guides and employer profiles are a goldmine for this kind of research.
They are.
You can learn about industry trends, salary expectations, company culture, and so much more.
So much good stuff.
It's about arming yourself with knowledge to make informed decisions about your career path and setting yourself up for success. And remember, research is an ongoing process.
It is.
The world of work is constantly evolving, so staying curious and engaged is key.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of specialized selling, we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit us with it.
What niche truly excites you, and how would you convey that passion in an interview?
Remember, this isn't just about getting a job. It's about finding a role that lights you up, a place where you can use your skills and enthusiasm to make a real difference.
Exactly.
And with the right preparation, a proactive mindset, and maybe a little help from RoleCatcher's AI,
Yes,
you can turn that dream career into a reality.
you've got this.